allow climate change to wreak unnatural havoc, or we can create jobs preventing its worst effects. We can hand over the jobs of the 21st century to our competitors, or we can create those jobs right here in America. We know the right choice. We have known the right choice for a generation. The time has come to make that choice, to act on what we know. And that's why my budget makes a historic investment, $150 billion over 10 years in clean energy and energy efficiency.
Okay, so the president built in $150 billion in subsidies into his budget to create green jobs and become the global leader in clean energy. Where's that gotten us? Let's see. Solar panel startup Solyndra filed for bankruptcy after receiving $197 million in loans from the program. Electric car maker Tesla, got $465 million from the program and finally released its first Model S after reporting a first quarter loss in 2012 of $90 million. Fisker Automotive was also given a $529 million loan and was supposed to deliver 5,000 new jobs in the U.S. 2 years after the loan was announced, the company's manufacturing jobs were limited to making the flashy Fisker sports car in Finland. Needless to say, the company didn't meet its milestone. It was cut off from funding after receiving only $193 million. And the list goes on and on and on. Meanwhile, the wind energy sector is dying. 10,000 jobs have been lost since 2008, despite the tax credits this administration has given to green energy. Now the push for clean energy by Obama also meant a backseat for other sectors like the coal industry after the president directed the EPA to issue an emissions cap with the strict penalties for the industry after Obama's first 2 years in office. 174 coal-producing plants were closed and over 650,000 jobs were lost. The White House just last week passed the GOP-led Stop the War on Coal Act that would lighten some of the restrictions and make it more competitive for the industry to compete. But the president has already threatened to veto it if it reaches to his desk. Over the weekend, coal miners were rallying in Ohio for Mitt Romney. My next guest was there. Tom Borelli, senior fellow at FreedomWorks, was one of the speakers. Before we get into this thing about the coal miners, I want to just ask you, point something out. The president said the decision has been made. And what I find fascinating about that is we talk free market stuff all the time. Who decided that this was the technology of the future and then to use government as a self-fulfilling prophecy? Joe Biden said there's no such thing as clean coal, but how do you know unless you let the market work? How do you know that catalytic converters or coal filters can't come online?
Absolutely. What we're witnessing is a massive failure of President Obama's command and control energy policy. You just gave a litany of the failed green energy projects, millions after millions, billions after billions. You know, there was a study done, and they estimated for the $9 billion they put in the stimulus plan into green energy, it cost jobs. It cost $9 million per job.
So you were there at this rally. Are these people, and I lived in West Virginia, I know Appalachia, I know coal country. When you start a war on coal, you are killing communities, you are robbing them of their jobs, and then all the effects that go out, secondary and tertiary effects.
Well, one thing Obama's energy policy is doing, it is bankrupting the coal industry. We already had Patriot Coal go bankrupt. Coal company stocks are really dropping 60, 80%. Coal miners are losing their jobs. Alpha Natural Resources just closed 8 mines.
Wow.
1,200 jobs. That's why these coal miners from West Virginia drove in a caravan to southern Ohio to lobby their neighboring state to ask for their jobs.
Some pictures of that. Let's take a look. You got the pictures there? Oh, they'll put them up.
Yeah, and these people are obviously worried about their jobs. And, it was a really great event, and we were glad as part of FreedomWorks to be there to try to help these people, create jobs and to keep their jobs, because in West Virginia they don't have much else.
Well, that's the thing, and we saw Joe Manchin, come out. I know he's been all over the map. He shot a hole in a piece of legislation trying to show his bona fides. But they are killing these communities. I have seen the old camp towns. I have seen the communities that get devastated when the coal companies are told they can't go here, they can't go here. They lose the jobs. The schools begin to suffer. The businesses begin to suffer. It's awful.
Right. Tax revenues go down in the states. And not only the coal companies, now we're starting to see the rail company stocks get hit. because some railroads, up to 30% of their revenue comes from coal. So now we're seeing this secondary economic impact because we know Obama knows best. He knows green energy is going to work it, like it or not, Andrew, like it or not, viewers. He's going to keep ramming it down our throats unless we, the people, get together and stop it.
You know what's funny is that Richard Trumka comes from the United Mine Workers, the head of the AFL-CIO.
Right.
It's magic that he is not defending coal miners here. I mean, and I tell this to people all the time. All this promise of green jobs, until you see a fence line, a security guard at post, and a giant sign that says, here lies the new green jobs you're going to go to, there are no green jobs.
Right.